MrBeast supporting the Saudi economy is absolutely insane to me. I saw that content creators are getting paid.
Curious, because you've been on YouTube so long, do you have like a favorite YouTube era where you think YouTube was the most interesting or anything?
Like the type of content that used to be really hot, but you don't really hear about it anymore, kind of.
I do remember there was like, before YouTube made the Adpocalypse.
YouTube made it.
I didn't know.
I'm just fucking with you. I'm fucking...
If you zoom out and look at YouTube over the last 10 years, the change is impossible to ignore. What once felt like a playground for personalities has slowly turned into a competitive industry. And the strange thing is, the people who noticed this early weren't critics or outsiders, they were the creators who built the platform. PewDiePie was one of them. Years ago, long before most people cared, he kept pointing out how YouTube was drifting away from creativity and towards something far more calculated. He talked about how the system rewards endless reinvestment, constant optimization, and scale above everything else. At the time, it sounded like casual commentary. Now it sounds like a warning we ignored. Because the creator who perfectly represents that shift isn't a media company or a TV network. It's MrBeast. What makes this story uncomfortable is that PewDiePie didn't just predict this transformation. He helped elevate the person who would later embody it. Back in the late 2010s, MrBeast was seen as a genuine fan, someone who believed YouTube should stay in the hands of individual creators. He spent his own money supporting PewDiePie, campaigning publicly, and positioning himself as part of the resistance against corporate dominance. That moment peaked in 2019 during the PewDiePie vs. T-Series era. That wasn't just a race for subscribers, it symbolized something bigger. One side represented personality, randomness, and creator culture. The other represented scale, efficiency, and industrial output. PewDiePie stood for chaos and authenticity. T-Series stood for mass production. And right there in the middle was MrBeast, cheering for the creator side. At the time, it felt like a clear story. PewDiePie was the face of YouTube's soul, MrBeast was the loyal supporter, and T-Series was the corporate threat. But over time, that story flipped. MrBeast didn't just grow bigger, he adopted the same industrial logic he once opposed. His channel evolved into a massive operation with full-time staff, production teams, business strategists, and long-term financial planning. Each video became a project, not an experiment. Every decision was guided by data, retention curves, and performance metrics. What emerged wasn't just content, it was a system. Meanwhile, PewDiePie's content came from a completely different era. His videos didn't need polish. They didn't need massive budgets. He could upload something spontaneous, low effort, or even ridiculous, and it would still resonate because people came for him, not the production value. That was old YouTube. MrBeast's version of YouTube is something else entirely, highly produced, perfectly structured, designed to keep viewers watching second by second. Nothing is accidental, nothing is left to chance. It feels closer to a streaming show than a personal upload. And that's where the irony becomes impossible to ignore. The same creator who once defended YouTube's grassroots culture helped create an environment where only large, well-funded operations can realistically succeed. Smaller creators can't compete with million-dollar budgets and full production teams. The bar has moved so high that passion alone isn't enough anymore. PewDiePie saw this coming. He talked about how creators get trapped chasing growth, constantly telling themselves just one more year, endlessly reinvesting in hopes that the payoff will arrive. But the system never stops demanding more. Bigger ideas, bigger spending, bigger risks. That's not creativity, that's survival. MrBeast didn't ruin YouTube, he optimized it into a factory. And that factory mentality didn't stop with videos, it extended into products. One of the clearest examples was the Lunchly launch. Marketed as a kid-friendly, healthier alternative, it was packaged as something wholesome and convenient. But when people actually saw what was inside, the illusion fell apart. Reports of spoiled food, questionable quality, and careless execution spread quickly. Creators like PewDiePie openly criticized it, pointing out how disconnected it felt from reality, especially for something aimed at children. The criticism wasn't about hate, it was about responsibility. What made the situation worse wasn't just the product itself, but how the backlash was handled. Instead of addressing concerns, the response was defensive and dismissive. Critics were brushed off as jealous or bitter. Sales numbers were used as a shield against accountability. That reaction highlighted the difference between two eras of YouTube. When PewDiePie faced criticism, he usually owned it. He joked about it. He moved on. There was no attempt to hide behind success or wealth. By contrast, modern creator brands often treat criticism as an attack on their entire business identity. Any negative feedback becomes a threat to the machine, not a chance to reflect. This ties back to another thing PewDiePie warned about years ago: performative generosity. He openly mocked influencers who turned charity into content, who filmed donations more for clicks than compassion. At the time, it felt like satire. Now it feels uncomfortably relevant. MrBeast built an empire around large-scale generosity, but generosity presented as spectacle. Every good deed is documented, branded, sponsored, and optimized. The giving becomes part of the content formula, not something separate from it. That doesn't mean the help isn't real, but it does change the nature of it. When everything is content, sincerity becomes harder to believe. MrBeast today isn't just a YouTuber. He's a brand ecosystem, a production company, a business network with multiple product lines, partnerships, and ventures. Running something that complex inevitably creates controversy, whether it's product quality, labor concerns, or marketing ethics. It's not about becoming evil, it's about becoming industrial. And once you reach that scale, creativity becomes secondary to maintenance. Videos stop feeling like expressions and start feeling like deliverables. Content is made by teams, approved by systems, and shaped by data. Even other creators have quietly acknowledged this shift, admitting that YouTube feels more formula-driven and less fun than it used to be. What's telling is how PewDiePie responded to all of this. He didn't fight it, he didn't chase it, he stepped away. He moved on with his life, focused on family, uploaded when he felt like it, and refused to turn his existence into a brand machine. While others chase numbers, valuations, and constant growth, he already exited the race. In a way, that's the biggest proof that he understood the system before it fully formed. Meanwhile, MrBeast is locked inside it. Every video must outperform the last. Every idea must be bigger. The algorithm doesn't allow rest. It doesn't allow stagnation. It only rewards escalation. That's the corporate shift PewDiePie warned about. Creators stop creating because they enjoy it and start producing because they have to. So yes, years later it's clear. PewDiePie wasn't being dramatic, he wasn't being nostalgic, he was being observant. And whether people like it or not, he was right about MrBeast, not as a person but as a symbol of what YouTube has become. Now the question is simple. Do we actually like this version of YouTube, or are we just used to it? Let me know what you think.